My name is Jermaine Clark. That's Jermaine Clark.
And you are with?
PricewaterhouseCoopers.
Okay, great. Why don't you just start by you telling me a little bit about your session?
Okay, so this morning we talked about the third-party risk management framework and how applying that to um, a well-manicured inventory can benefit your organization.
Okay. I guess a couple of questions that maybe come to mind for me are, what is the best way to ensure that you are keeping tabs on your third-party vendors and that you're not putting yourself at risk?
Yeah, so one of the biggest problems that our clients come to us with is that they don't have an inventory in place. And that's the answer to your question, is to properly consolidate your inventory so that you understand how many, you know, vendors you have that are triggering different risk dimensions to include regulatory risk dimensions, compliance risk dimensions, cybersecurity risk dimensions. And that really starts with having a great process in place and applying it to a complete inventory.
Okay, great. What would be some red flags to look out for to know that your third-party vendor is not delivering or being compliant in the ways that you want them to?
Right, so uh, there's a couple of things. From the business side, definitely KPIs, key performance indicators. Are the vendors doing what's outlined in their contracts, in their service level agreements? And from the risk side, there's KRIs, key risk indicators. And that, you know, that's with your risk management team. You set different thresholds to notify you or to give you red flags when certain risk events occur or reach a certain threshold.
So risk assessments from the beginning are key in making sure that you're transparent.
Right. What you want to do is typically we look at three risk areas, um, and that is your inherent risk, which is agnostic of your vendor. It's the greatest amount of risk to your organization. And typically we see the business requester, the business relationship manager, um, while they're doing the business case, create that inherent risk, answer the inherent risk questionnaire so that you can kind of know what risk dimensions are triggered by potentially outsourcing this product or service. Um, Secondly, you introduce the vendor who you're thinking about using for the process, and you apply the control risk framework, which deals with, hey, I did the inherent risk and I know these control or that these risk dimensions are triggered. Now we're going to look at the vendor's ability to mitigate this risk of this outsourced service or product. Uh, as a result of those two things together, you'll have your residual risk, and you can kind of meter your nature and timing and extent of those assessments and audits based off of that.
How often should we be auditing?
Right, and that ties directly into the nature, timing, and extent. So if in the inherent risk and control risk you determine that your vendor risk level is a high, medium, or low, or however you choose to stratify it, your nature, timing, and extent should tie directly to that high, medium, or low. Maybe you look at a high more often than a medium, and maybe you do different types of testing and inquiry for your mediums or lows than you would for a high. And that's all part of the process.
Okay, great. Did you have any questions or topics come up in your session today that you felt like, oh, that's a good question, or something that we should all think about a little bit more?
Yeah, well, so there was, when you're doing one of these speaking engagements, you're always engaged with the crowd, and you're starting to see where you get a lot of heads nodding, or where you get a lot of people shifting around. And I'd say that the two areas that people were concerned with the most were their inventory. That their inventory was spread out across different repositories. Some people may have them in Excel spreadsheets, some may be in some technology tool, but that they don't have a a good feel of all of their third parties, primarily their vendors or suppliers. That's where I saw a lot of head nodding. And another place that I saw head nodding is that the vendor risk, the third party risk function, was being introduced too late into the process. So different people from the business side were saying, we want this, service or product outsourced. We want to use this vendor. oh wait, there may be risk involved with this. Let me go back and check with my risk guys. So they were involved too late in the process. So those were kind of two big points I saw that resonated today during the speaking engagement.
Excellent. That's great. Is there anything you want to add?
No, I mean, thanks for having us, and
Yeah, that was great. Thank you.
great.
Thank you so much.
Thanks.
You did a great job.
Thank you.
Yeah, I do this professionally.
No, no. All right. I don't want to. I might as well just let you.
Might as well. There we go. Thank you. Thanks.
No viral elements there, right?